YouTube, it's Will from Will Development. This is my 310th weekly update. Got some pretty cool news. I was actually able to get somebody to record some of my lifts this week. I got Mondays, some from Tuesday, some from Thursday. I didn't get any today, mostly because I wasn't doing anything entertaining. If you can't really tell, I have some sort of head cold sort of thing going on. I don't know if it's actually a head cold, but I've been feeling a bit of congestion from the top and slight headaches and that sort of thing. I assume I'll be over it in a couple days. It's really only been, I don't know what's the word. It's been a little rough only because it's affecting my sleep slightly, so I've been feeling a little more tired because of it, but it hasn't really affected me all that much. Because I was still able to produce some pretty good stuff this week. Monday I had a goal. I wanted to squat 315 for 5, and I was actually able to hit that. Next week I will release a TWO, and I'm going to try to do my best to get back on it. Again, no promises on that. It's one of those things where I don't really like having to stop and be like, hey, can you record this? And then I go, and then afterward I have to, edit and do all that other stuff. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's just an added step. Part of it's nice because then I can, sort of look at the lift and sort of take it apart and be like, okay, I need to do this more, I need to do that more, I need to add more of this, I need to do that better, that sort of thing. So from that regard, it's good. And I wouldn't say don't record your lifts. I would say usually you should record a lot of them, because it'll give you a lot of information from multiple angles, and you can see, oh, okay, my knees are coming in when I deadlift, or I'm not actually going as low as I thought on squats, that kind of thing. Just certain things that you might not actually notice during the actual lift, but you can see them during the, review of a video. And so Monday I did hit my 315 for 5. I made the joke when I posted on Instagram, 315 for 4, and then one good morning, because the last rep was basically a good morning. It was not necessarily up to par, and a big part of that is, and it's not an excuse, it's something I just need to work on, in my squats when I get to heavier weights that are closer to 100% or even beyond 100% of my perceived capabilities on squats. I have a tendency to relax my upper back when I'm getting down on the bottom. And it's something I've been working on. A part of it is the ankle flexibility that I have been working on. Basically allowing my knees to go over my toes more allows me to keep my upper back a little bit tighter. And sort of I'm sinking my hips straight down instead of backing down, that kind of thing. And with the heavier weights, that's sort of, it's just something I need to work on, just keeping that tighter and keeping it more, keeping the form better. But it's something to work on, so I don't necessarily mind, per se, I don't harp on things like that. I'm the type of guy, and when I help people if they ask for my help, I always tell them not to get 100% obsessed with form when it comes to things like PRs, or when you're on your 15th rep of something, which really there's no purpose to do that many reps, but you understand what I mean, hopefully. I'm not saying form's not important. I'm saying there's no reason to sort of beat yourself up like crazy when you're going for 105% of your 1 rep max, and it's not the prettiest thing on the planet. Odds are you won't get injured. Just doing it once every, couple months, which is generally when you should aim for PRs, once every 2 to 3 months, really. Generally speaking, when you're at a certain level, that's what you could expect. But it's one of those things where I think it's a paralysis by analysis. Some people will spend 3 weeks extra just squatting 315 until it's perfect, or it never even gets perfect, when the reality is that maybe they should have just squatted 335 and just gone up in weight, and yeah, it wasn't as good, but then all of a sudden when they come back down to 315, oh, well, what do you know? It actually is perfect then. perfect in quotes, always. And it's the same thing on the deadlift. You might find, I'm getting a little rounding when I pull 400 or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, but 400 is clearly not your max. Maybe you're getting 6 to 7% rounding. Just go up to, 430 or 410 even, 415. Pull that. Maybe you get 15% rounding. Then all of a sudden, in a week or two, when you go back to doing 400, well, would you look at that? It's a perfect rep, That's... I wouldn't necessarily say that's the best or only way to go about things, but I think in my experience, I've seen a lot of people sort of slow down what they're capable of because they're worried about their form going just a little bit off. And that's the thing, I'm being very generalized and vague when I talk about this because it is a slightly nuanced topic. It's, there's if you pull a deadlift rounded once, it probably won't kill you. It won't break your back. It won't be Snap City, as people like to say. Now, if you consistently do that, then we have a problem. If you're pulling 315 with a cat back, we're talking like 50, 60% of rounding plus. And then you keep going up and you're doing 365 with the same thing, and then all of a sudden you're in 400 with the same thing. But then you come back down to 315 and it's been 4 months and you're still pulling 315 rounded. Now we're talking about a place where you are potentially setting yourself up for problems. And I would say the same thing goes for most exercises. They all carry their inherent quote-unquote risks. Put all that in quotes, inherent and risks. And there's usually quote-unquote safer ways to do certain things. And my whole thing to round that back is, to bring that all back is on the squats that you'll see in my 2 video. They're not perfect. It's something I need to work on. Am I going to get injured doing it that way? Possibly eventually. Did I get injured this time? No. I would probably say I was at a risk percentage of like 25% over 0 of doing them properly. This doesn't mean I need to stop squatting until I can get that weight perfect. That's where I come from. I think some people might take it a little far, and there's plenty of people that'll disagree with me on that, and that's fine. Even people that are way more qualified than me will disagree on that. That's totally fine. There's people that are way more qualified than me that agree with me. Form is a good thing. That's not the purpose of my little diatribe here. But it's not everything. Consistency is everything. Of course, consistently terrible form is also a bad thing. So, consistently improving in one metric or another is the best possible plan to get better. Whether it's intensity, meaning the weight, whether it's volume, meaning the total amount of sets and or reps, or weight that you're doing, or frequency, meaning the total amount of times you do a particular movement, and form. Take those 4 things and you're consistently trying to improve each one of those things over time. That's how you become really good. At least that's what I've seen, and my own experience has shown me that. Not that I'm really good at anything, but eventually I expect I will be, just in lieu of just by accident, I'll get better. Mostly because my consistency is there. I don't miss days, period. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Tuesday, did a little press work. I wanted to do some singles at 165 for strict. The one that got recorded was a little less strict than I would have liked. And although I didn't use hips or knees to get the bar going, when I unracked it, I kind of settled here, and then right when I settled, I shot it up instead of sort of settling, waiting a second, and then going. Most of the reps I did that with, I think I did like 10 total reps with that weight. Just some strict pressing. Thursday, I wanted to PR on squats, and when I say PR, I mean a recent PR. My lifetime PR on that's 420, so I'm trying to build back to that. And I said, I want to hit 365 today. That was the number I'd been sort of hyping up in my head the whole time. And when I got to the gym, I went through everything and I hit 335, and I was like, you know what, that didn't feel too bad. I'm just going for it. Went to 365 and hit it. And one of my buddies in there was squatting with me, and he's been just shooting up. And it's funny, every time he squats with me when I go for a PR day, he gets a PR. He does 365, which was like a 20-pound PR for him. It was 15 for me, technically. These are recent PRs with no pain. That's what I'm considering PRs for me. And so I said, well, damn, he did 365. I have to do 370. Now, I actually go lower than him, so he even admitted, he's like, look, you already beat me. You already went lower than me. And I was like, yeah, but here's the thing with me. When I can win, it's not enough that I win. You have to lose. And I only do it to people I love. I love that guy, so I did it to him. So I put 370 on the bar, and I hit that too. And it was just a terrible, terrible looking squat. I was burned out from all the other squats I had done, and I had no business even going for it. I should have just called it a 365, but I didn't get injured, and I hit it. So 370, I'm going to count it. It's ugly, but now I can go back and consistently try to improve the form of those particular weights, both 365, 370, 315, you name it. And that's what it's about. And then tonight, again, I've been feeling really so I didn't record anything or didn't get anything recorded in the gym while I was training, because I really didn't even touch a barbell. I came in and I was like, man, I feel like hell. That's a lie. I touched a barbell instantly. I did some close grip bench because that's what one of the other guys was doing. Just sets of 10, supersetted with dips, and then supersetted that with, we have a pull-up bar in the gym now that's like a square tubing, and I like to just hook my hands over it like that, just to really work the grip in a different way, instead of just always the crushing power, just have something like that on a ledge. And so I was doing pull-ups that way, and then I went and did some superset with lateral raises into banded lateral raises, which is one of my favorites, into pull-ups on a regular bar, not even a fat grip bar, just a regular bar, because my grip was feeling a little rough. So I said I'll just do that, and then tomorrow I'll do probably do some bench and some log or axle or something. One of the guys there wanted to do strongman stuff, so I was like, we could come up with a couple medleys, maybe a press medley, and then and we'll do some yoke and stuff. So that'll be fun. So anyway, look forward to the 2 video coming out next Wednesday. I anticipate dropping the stone experiment video very soon. Like I said, it's done. I'll release it when I feel like it. Might even be this weekend. We'll see. Other than that, just consistently be trying to improve something in your training, and if you're consistent with your consistency, you can't help but win. So if you're not consistent, what's your excuse?